Laura, a very warm welcome to Rockland.
Thanks a lot. Thank you for having me. I love being in Germany.
Okay. Although we play your songs on Rockland for a while, would you please introduce yourself a little bit? Where are you? Where are you from?
Yeah. So, I'm Laura Cox. I'm French. I started playing electric guitar around 2006, something like this, when I was 14, and then it became my main passion. I'm so in love with the guitar. I started uploading videos on the internet on my YouTube channel, kind of created a virtual buzz, and then a few years after this I decided to form my band, live project, and now I'm releasing my third album, so I'm really happy, really excited about this, and of course I'm playing rock.
Let's talk about this a little bit more. You are French. You told me you're French. Your father is English.
Exactly. Yeah, I was born in France, and I considered myself as French because, I lived all my life there.
Germans wouldn't expect that the French woman will play rock music, and they have other intentions. What French musicians do, like DJing, like David Guetta or French chansons.
Daft Punk.
Why is it for you rock music? Where comes it from? Is it an influence of your parental house, so. Or your parents are they making music or so?
I think it was coming from different reasons. So first, because I was lucky to grow up in a family where my parents were music lovers, not musicians, but really big music lovers. And since my childhood, I've been listening to artists like Johnny Cash and the Byrds and Dire Straits. So I had a really good musical education. And I think also because my dad is English, maybe if my two parents would have been French, maybe it wouldn't have been the same. But I had this double musical education. And then when I was just before high school, I met some friends that were into hard rock and guitar. And then I thought, okay, why not? I'm going to try. So yeah, I think different reasons, but I don't feel like I chose this. It's weird. It's like I was really attracted. It was not a choice. I felt attracted to the guitar and to the rock world. And I don't see myself do something else.
You got your first guitar when you was 13 or so? Yeah,
something like this, 14 I think, and it was a classical acoustic, so not exactly my type.
Who bought this guitar? Your mom?
My grandmother. My grandmother, she bought me my first acoustic guitar, and I kept this for a few years, but then I quickly realized that I wanted to play rock. So then my mom got me my first electric guitar. I don't have it anymore, but it was really fun to play, and I never stopped.
Did you ever take lessons in classic?
I think not classical lessons, but I think it was important for me to have lessons when I started, because at least it kept me motivated. I found a really good teacher who taught me about the classics of rock. We were playing Led Zeppelin, Simon and Garfunkel, and a lot of motivating songs. He was asking me what kind of songs I wanted to play, and I think it's really important to give you the good basis, and not be stuck. And because I think it's really hard to stay motivated when you're starting something by yourself, and at least having a good teacher, you don't take bad habits and you stay motivated. But it can be like also the opposites. I know some people who stopped music because they stumbled upon a bad teacher. So I was lucky to have this really good teacher who motivated me. So I took lessons for the first 4 years. And then I felt like I could continue by myself, and I had enough knowledge and baggage to be motivated and keep on playing by myself.
Your first steps really was to play songs, classic rock songs for yourself.
Yeah.
But how it comes to this idea to do it on your own YouTube channel?
Because so when I was taking guitar lessons, I was also spending half of my life on YouTube, just googling and searching for the songs, the classics that I was listening at the moment, like Sweet Home Alabama or Sultans of Swing, and I was really curious about seeing other musicians trying to cover these songs, and some YouTubers were really motivating me. And I besides my standard guitar lessons, I spent a lot of time just trying to learn by myself via YouTube. And then I thought, I'm going to try to do the same. It was like a challenge. If I'm motivated by these YouTubers, I'll try to get some feedback, and it was kind of an exciting experience,
Was it another kind of lessons you do with these videos?
Yeah, did more free, because I could try to learn what I wanted and at my own pace. But yes, aside from the classical standard lessons, I really love this YouTube aspect where you could find anything for free at the time. So around 2006-8, there weren't a lot of people doing this, but it was still a really, really good source of motivation and inspiration.
Mm-hmm. And how long does it take? You said you were waiting for reactions.
Yes.
And how long does it take when you got the offer of a record deal?
The record deal way later. So by this time, I think I wasn't ready to start a band. I spent maybe the first 8 years of playing guitar just kind of locked in my bedroom and covering classic rock songs because I was kind of introverted, and for me this was the easy solution, just to share my music, not really my music but my covers, with the world, but staying home. And I was not stressed. I could just record. If it was bad, it was okay. I could take my time and then share this with people. And then I think maybe 8 years after starting my YouTube channel, I decided that maybe I was ready to start a band. And then after this, I think so we released our first album in 2017. So it was almost 10 years after my YouTube
now
years.
You have to go on stage.
Yes.
It was a hard step?
Yes, it was a kind of a hard and stressful transition because when I had my first gig, I already had several million views on my channel. So it's not as if I was starting from zero with nobody knowing my name. And I kind of had this pressure to not disappoint the people who were already following me on YouTube. So yes, it was kind of stressful. But in the end, it wasn't the best show of my life. But we made it through. And then years after years, I felt more comfortable on stage,
Mm-hmm. Now, meanwhile, your third album,
yes.
Head Above Water.
Yes.
It sounds a little bit optimistic. What is it about? Is it more optimistic, or is it to deal with crisis you have in your life, in your private life, but also in the social or political life? Is it about that?
I think both. I really like this title, Head Above Water, and also it's also the opening song of the album, because for me it's a strong and positive message. It's just saying, keep your head above water. You're going to go through hard times, but it's normal. It's life. It's what life is about. You have good moments, bad moments, and you just have to face it. And you cannot. It's like life and music are a bit like the ocean. You cannot control everything. It's unpredictable, and you can just face it and make the best out of the situations you're given. So that was kind of this, and I also had in mind some personal experiences, but I wanted to keep the topic a bit wide so that the listeners could identify to the songs with their own personal journey.
Mm. Is it like to cheer up and keep on going?
Yeah. Kind of this positive message, because I think it's important to to have a positive mindset in life. Otherwise, you cannot move on and go forward.
Mm. Comparing this album to the last one, what would you say? It's different, it's new, or is it only continuing this, or is it something different to this?
I think there's an evolution in my sound and my songs. So of course you can still.
Is there more rock or more variety?
Less hard. Yeah, less hard, a bit softer, still rock. But yeah, it still sounds like me. But for this one, I really I stopped thinking, okay, I want to sound like this artist and sing like her and play like him. I kind of let go of all this like copying mimics and of course I'm influenced by other artists, but for this one I try to write more naturally without thinking of the results or what I was trying to do, just be into the process in a natural way. So yeah, this album in the end is a bit less hard, but still rock and roll. I wanted to add more country influences, a bit more banjo, because the banjo was already there on the past albums, but subtle. And now I try to push this side more, like the banjo and the lap steel. And this is something I definitely want to try again on the next records, I think.
So we come to one of your singers, So Long. There is more country or southern rock, I would say, and there's the banjo in it. This is that what you mean? It's new, and maybe we can listen to the song now.
Yes, we're going to listen to the song. But yeah, So Long, I think it was a good single, because you could hear my, of course, the strong rock bass that I was talking about, but also my country influences with the banjo and the choruses. Of course, this is going to be an acoustic version. You don't have the electric guitar, the banjo and everything, but you can still listen to the original version afterwards. But I like this song. This is one of my favorite on the album. So.
Okay.
Lately I've been losing sleep but winning my life back. When my dreams turn to misery and life has turned to dark. Though I've always been the one who always seemed to listen what I'm told. Can't believe it took so long to get where I'm standing now. Always thought it was so wrong, trying to keep these voices down. Got a ringing in my head and a buzzing in my brain, never get out on my mind, and it's all right by me. Change of plan, a no more pact with the devil. You all the same, a pack of wolves, nothing special. All to blame for being this vulnerable. Now who's the rebel? Who's the rebel now? 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 Who's the rebel? Who's the rebel? So long to get where I'm standing now. Always thought I was so wrong, trying to keep these voices down. Got a ringing in my head and a buzzing in my brain, never get out on my mind, and it's all right by me. 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 Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Your recent singer is Wiser.
Yes.
It's totally different to So Long.
Yeah.
It's a little bit in the direction of glam rock or so, a little bit.
I would say a bit more catchy, or it's hard to define the. I wanted something still a bit like in the southern style with the open tunings and slide guitar. But yeah, the Wiser music is less dark than the So Long one.
Yeah. You described you want to be more your own on this album. People like to put musicians in special boxes and like to compare. It sounds like this band or this band, and when I listen to So Long, it comes in my mind ZZ Top.
Thank you.
It's like
one of
the
my
sound,
influences. So
this southern rock sound.
I like the heavy southern stuff. So I think this could define not all of my music, but for sure ZZ Top has been one of my big influences over the years.
Yeah. Is it important for you to, in this picture, you want to have your own box and not a little bit Laura Cox in this box, maybe of ZZ Top or in the box of Johnny Cash or so, and take the influences, of course, but have your own box?
Honestly, for me, it's not important. I wish we wouldn't have to put labels and everything, but if you had to, I would say, I would love to have my box, like you're saying, like something like Southern Hard Blues. That's how I like to define my music. It's a base of rock, but with country influences, like sometimes a bit more bluegrass, something a bit like more hard blues, and I would love to be to become an influence too, for people. But it's really, really hard to find my style and my identity because I love so many different styles. So I'm trying to compact this in one album, and hope that the listeners can define something that make my identity.
Would you say it is a dream that when people said, this is Laura Cox, this is the sound of Laura Cox?
Yes, at some point I think that that's what artists want, be recognized. You play one note and you know. So I'm not sure I'm there yet.
It's like a handwriting.
Yeah. I think a lot of things can do this, like for the tone of the guitar or the vocals or just the overall. But I think this is the goal of many artists, and me, including me, having a sound, a tonal signature.
Mm-hmm. But it's a long way, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Some artists, I think they find their way and their signature really, really early and easy. For others, it's more difficult.
Mm-hmm. Another single was One Big Mess.
Yes.
What is one big mess?
It's talking in general about the state of the planet. Everything is falling apart, and I'm talking about someone waking up every day with the same life that is kind of tired about this and is kind of living too fast, because we are all living too fast at the moment. We have content that is lasting a day and then you throw things away. You're not really taking time to live life anymore, and this is a bit sad. So roughly, this is what One Big Mess is about.
You told me it was your comfort zone to play alone in your room and put it on YouTube, and
yes.
So I want to ask you, what do you prefer? What do you like more? Being in a studio, writing songs, producing songs, or go on stage and playing with your band for an audience, thousands of people?
I think it's good to find the balance, because of course we are a lot on stage. Being in the studio, it happens once every 2 or 3 years because it's to record the next albums. But I love both, I think, and I also like having time for myself. At home, just no pressure, just practicing by myself, trying new things, trying new instruments. I recently started playing drums, for example, during the COVID, when I had to, a bit of exercise and practice. But I would say the right thing is finding the balance between all of this. I love being on stage. It's really special to share this music with the audience, and it's a really big part of being a musician. Being in the studio, I wouldn't say this is my favorite experience, because it's not like I'm alone at home recording, no pressure. It's you're with the whole team, the engineer, sometimes the label is here to check if everything is going well. So it's a bit more stressful, I would say. And you cannot waste time. You have 2 weeks in the studio, and you have to have this album done in 2 weeks. So, but in the end, I'm really happy with the results and the experience that we had in the studio. But I wouldn't say this is my favorite part.
How long does it take from the very first song for the album until it's finished?
So I wrote most of these songs in 2021. So you're talking about the writing process or the recording process?
Everything from.
So it's been a while because I didn't even know I would put all of these tracks on the album, but the very first song I wrote for this album was done by the end of 2019, so a while ago. Then I stopped, so this was the first song. Then I stopped, and the rest was written in 2021. And then we recorded the album in February 2022, so almost a year ago. So if you're really taking into account the first song to the first song written to the last song recorded, it's been 3 years. Yeah, a bit less than 3 years, but I wrote most of the songs on like in a year, I would say.
What do you think yourself about this special rhythm musicians have, producing an album, release an album, going on tour to promote the new songs and going back in the studio? It's always the same, or is it important for you to take breaks?
I think all the bands have different rhythm, I guess. For us, we're mostly on the road, and the rest we organize around the tour, you know. But until now, I was on the road most of the weekends since we released the first album in 2017. We didn't have any really big compact tour over months. It was like playing a bit every weekend. And now I really want to change this, to organize better and to have like half of the year when we can tour and the other half where I can write and be more present on my social media and my YouTube channel, for example. So I think I'm going to try doing this in the future.
Okay. We speak about touring. You say you are on the way. Which plans you have to be in Germany, maybe?
I don't have all the cities in mind, but we are going to start the tour in March. And we are going to tour a lot between March and September, October, I think. So we have a few gigs coming, like I said, in Germany in March. I know we're going to play Hamburg, Bensheim, Dortmund. And I forgot maybe Berlin too, and I forgot 1 or 2 other gigs. But you can see this on my website, and I'm sure we're gonna have more gigs in Germany before the end of the year. For sure.
Okay. Yeah. Besides music, what are you doing when you're not in a studio, when you're not on tour, and is there a life without music possible?
Yes. Yeah, and I discovered this mostly during the COVID because I felt like I don't know. I had to distance a bit from the music. I didn't know I was really not inspired by the music in 2020. So I've always loved like riding sports, but I'm always careful with the skateboard because I'm really afraid for my wrists and my hands. But I've been more into surfing recently. But I don't live near the ocean, but I would love to because I live near Paris. So, but I would love to go in the Basque Country, you know, southwest of France. It's a really nice area. So surfing. I also learned how to cook during the COVID. So now I think I'm enjoying doing this, and it's still music related. But I open myself to different instruments like drums or well. So I would say this is this.
Okay. We spoke about classic rock.
Yes.
And you mentioned some artists. Which musicians or bands are really your heroes?
So I think it started. I really had big heroes and like idols when I started playing guitar. Now I'm less into this guitar hero thing, and I'm less about idolizing people. But when I started, I was really into 3 guitarists who helped me a lot with my playing. Without knowing this because I just practiced their songs, but I would say Slash, Joe Bonamassa and Mark Knopfler. They brought a lot to my playing and had played a big part in the player I am right now. And now I'm listening to less guitar hero stuff. I would rather listen to genres that are more into like songwriting, like for example Blackberry Smoke, Blackstone Cherry, Hailstorm, Rival Sons, like more recent rock bands, I would say.
Are you going to concerts of this?
Yeah, for sure.
To got an impression what they are doing and got inspiration for yourself?
Yeah. This is really important for me, and also because that's when the music is really taking place and being alive. It's on stage for me. So I for sure I'm buying their albums because I love having like physical copies, either CD or vinyl. But for me, going to the shows when I can, because most of these bands are playing in Paris too. I always love spending time going to shows, and for me it's a really important part. And sometimes even meet these person and these people, and it's always a great time. And I missed this the past years. Now it's starting again. The big American bands are coming back to Europe. So I saw Hailstorm and Alter Bridge a few months ago. It was great, and I'm really happy that everything is happening again.
Yeah, it's a good difference when you buy CDs or vinyl. It's clean, and when you see them on stage, there's more life in it, in the songs.
Yeah, the energy is different, and sometimes you can discover different versions of songs, and you can and everything seems a bit harder, on stage. It's like a more rock, a more like you said, less clean. So I like this side of it too.
It's interesting, you said during COVID you are not motivating to make music, and other people would say music would help them to in those times.
For me, this wasn't the same. I really, the first weeks I was really motivated because I didn't know how long it would last. I thought, okay, it's nice, I'm gonna have a bit of time to finish things I didn't have time to finish songs or practice guitar, but after a few weeks, I was just going in circles in my apartment, and I needed to do something else. I was going crazy. So that's why I don't know. I lost inspiration, and then I waited until it came back. So in 2020, I barely did anything music-wise, and then in 2021, that's when I started working again.
Okay, thank you so much for being here,
Thanks
Laura.
a lot.
And at the end, you will play another song.
Yeah. Before we get burned.
Right.
So there are a few acoustic songs on the album, 2 actually, and this is one of them. So I figured it would fit this acoustic session. I'm just going to retune quickly. Finding the right spot on the chair.
Never been a saint, nothing left to cry now. Just wanna fall fast asleep. Please, don't let me get burned. If I'm lost, if I go in there too deep, if I go down in flames, would you lead me back home? If I can't see the light, let me feel your fire tonight. Oh, let me feel the fire in you before we get burned. Hold my hand as I bury the thought of us. Do you feel the pain as I fake that stupid smile? Drank myself to sleep till your face just fades away. I won't tell, no, let's just say that I'm okay. If I go down in flames, would you lead me back home? If I can't see the light, then feel your fire tonight. Oh, let me feel the fire in you before we get burned. just hurts a little more and more. Yeah, yeah. And if I go down in flames, would you lead me back home? If I can't see the light, let me feel your fire tonight. And if I go down in flames, would you lead me back home? If I can't see the light, let me feel your fire tonight. Let me feel the fire in you. Before we get back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.